So, Davidovich Fokina and Dzumhur, they're facing off in the first round of Andalucia. Now, Andalucia is a new tournament that's happening in Spain. It's supposed to be so that it can make up for the tournaments that were lost in 2021 because of COVID-19. Well, anyway, let's go through the results. So, Davidovich Fokina, he's played in a couple of tournaments this year. He played in some challenger events because he was on a long layoff for like a couple months. So he did come back in some challenger events, and he was only able to win one match in those challenger events. But then at the Opens to France, that's where his form turned around. He beat a fellow Spaniard in 3 sets at the Opens to France, and then he beat Hurkacz in straight sets before losing to Gerasimov in 3 tightly contested sets. In Rotterdam, he lost to Fucsovics, but he was able to beat RBA, who were just coming off a finals appearance at the Open to France. So it was a good win for Davidovich Fokina because RBA is a great player, and we all know that. And then in Marseille, he was able to win a match there too, and in Dubai he also won a match against Alba before losing to an accomplished veteran in Krajinovic. So we're gonna see, because he does like playing on the clay. He has played on clay before. I would say he's even better on clay, so he does like playing on the clay, and we're gonna see what he can do here. Now, Dzumhur, he's not really had the best of years this year, because in a lot of the events, even though he was able to get into the main draw, or a couple of the events, he was awarded a lucky loser, like in the Australian Open. He didn't really qualify. He lost in the final round, but he got a lucky loser spot. He got a lucky loser entry into the first round, where he lost. At the Open to France, he didn't even make it out to qualify. In Acapulco, he didn't make it either. In Miami, he didn't win both qualifying matches. He lost, but he was managed to just get through due to a lucky loser spot. But surprisingly, he beat Anderson in straight sets before losing to Tsitsipas in straights. And then at a challenger event that was on clay, he didn't make it far. He lost to a Spaniard in straight sets, to Vieira Martinez. So he's not in his best form now. So we're gonna see what will happen here, because Davidovich Fokina is a very tough player. So if Dzumhur is not in his best form, it's not gonna be good, because even in his best form, it's even unlikely he will win, not to talk of when he's not. So we're gonna see what happens here. Now, Dzumhur and Davidovich Fokina, they've only met once. That wasn't a hard court, so it may not have as much relevance to this, but they did meet once in an indoor hard court in Cologne, which was actually one of the new tournaments that was on the scene. And Fokina won that one 6-2, 6-3 in straight sets. He won that. So my prediction here, I think that Fokina is going to win this in straight. I think he's much better on clay. And I think that Dzumhur isn't in the best form. Most of the tournaments that he even made, they were lucky loser spots he got. So I'm gonna pick Fokina to win this in straight set. I think he can, and then he'll want to get off to a good start in the clay. So my prediction is Fokina in straight sets. So Lucas Pouille and Ricardo Berankis, they're facing off in the first round of Andalucia. Now, Pouille hasn't really been around. He had to take the whole season off last year due to an injury, so he's not really been around. But he did come back this year, though. He did play 2 challenger events. He played in his home country in both of them, but in the first one, he lost in the first round. And in the other one, he was able to win one match and lost in the second round. At the Open to France, he lost in the first round, but then in Marseille, he was able to win a match but before losing to Tsitsipas in straight sets 2-6, 3-6. He then played a challenger in Italy and he won one match before losing another, and then now he's playing this match. He's playing in Andalucia, and we're gonna see if Pui can play on the clay, because even me, I'm not really so sure about his clay court record yet, but we're gonna see if he can play on the clay. He has made the third round of the French Open, but I don't think he's as good on clay as on hard court. So we're gonna see if he can transfer that to the clay. Now, Berankis is also another player that is also better on hard courts. He's another player that also does better on the hard courts than on the clay. But this year, he has had some decent results. He did make the second round of the Australian Open, but he lost to Khachanov in straight sets. In Miami, he was able to make the second round, but he lost to Struff, who's not a bad player. And in Melbourne, he lost to Vesely. So his results haven't been bad, because he has had tough draws. He has had tough draws in the season so far. So his results haven't been the worst. But he's also more comfortable on hard court. He's also not as good on the clay. So we're gonna see whether he can transfer that into the clay, because this is a battle of kind of like two other form players battling it out to kind of see which one can kind of gain confidence. Now, Berankis and Pui, they've met once. They met in St. Petersburg, and Pui won that one in the third set tiebreaker, 7-6, 3-6, 7-6. But then they also did meet in an indoor hardcore match in 2014 in a challenger event. It was unofficial, but it was a meet, and Berankis won that one after coming back from a set down, 3-6, 6-4, 6-4. So right now, the only thing we can say for now, I guess, is like they've met once officially, but then they also met once on the challenger tour. So right now, I know many people would pick Berankis to win this, but I'm actually gonna side with Pui to get this. I think that he's just a little better on the clay, and I think because Berankis' clay court record isn't so good, I think that Pui can sneak through here, because I think he's better on the clay than Berankis is. Even if Pui may not be so good on clay, I think he's better than Berankis on the clay, and I think that he's a little bit better on it. So I'm gonna pick Pui to win this in 3 sets. I think that Berankis will take a set, but my prediction here is that Pui will win this match in a 3-setter. So Ilya Ivashka and Pedro Martinez, they're facing off in the first round of Andalucia. Now, Ivashka, he has I don't think he's played on the clay this year, but he did play on some hardcourt events. He did play in the Australian Open. He lost in the first round, and he played at a challenger event. He lost in the first round too, but in Miami he was able to do well. He was able to win his first round match before losing against Shapovalov in the second round. But he was able to take a set, and he kept the match close. I think that the match against Shapovalov lasted over 3 hours. So he is playing well. But the question we're gonna have here now is that, is he gonna be able to transfer that to the clay courts? I've not really seen much of his clay court game yet, so it's gonna be a little bit of a tough say to see what he can do. But this question here is that, can he transfer that brilliance, I guess, like that he played, or that form to the clay courts? We're gonna see. Now, Pedro Martinez is a Spaniard, and as we all know in general, as we all tennis fans know, most Spaniards are really good on clay, because they grow up on clay courts, in general. That's where they grow up. But surprisingly, Martinez actually hasn't played a clay court event. In the Adelaide International or the Great Ocean Road Open, he lost in the first round. But in the Australian Open, he put together a good run. He made a third round before losing to Dusan Lajovic in 4 sets. But it was a close match, and he did take the first set. and he ran the other sets close, so it was a close match. He did lose to Dusan Lavic, but it was close. And in Miami, he lost the same when he had to withdraw. So the question here is that we don't know much about his fitness. Has he really recovered? Because he did retire, so it's going to be a question to know whether he has recovered fully for this match here. So Pedro Martinez and Eghosa, they've never met officially, but they did meet in a clay court event in Morocco, and Martinez won that one 7-5, 7-5. So Martinez does have a small win over Eghosa. So this one I actually don't know what to say right now. I'm actually confused because this one is an extremely tough one to call, because normally I would have picked Martinez to win this because he is a Spaniard and he is better on clay and he is playing in his home country. But Eghosa, I played well, and not only that, but Martinez's fitness is still a question. But I'm going to still stick with Martinez. I think that I'm just going to assume that he's healthy, that he's had time to rest. I'm going to assume that he's had time to rest. He's healthy coming into this match. He's fit. And if that's the case, I think he should get through this one fairly. I think he should get through this one in 3 sets. I want to say fairly straightforward, because it won't be straightforward. I think that Eghosa will take a set, definitely, because he is in good form so far. But I think that Martinez will be able to win it in 3 sets, because I think that number one, he would have grown up on clay as Spaniard. Number two, he's also playing in his home country too, so I think that will motivate him to get the win. So I'm gonna pick Martinez to win this match in a 3-setter. So Feliciano Lopez and Taro Daniel, they're facing off in the first round of Andalucia. Now Lopez, he's not so good on clay. He's better on the hard courts because it suits his game better, especially now he's aging. The clay isn't the best surface for him right now because he is getting older and has to kind of maintain his body, and the hard court suit him better because he can finish points quickly with his big serve. But on the clay, he can't really do that as much, so it's going to be interesting to see what will happen. But let's go through his results anyway. He did make the 3rd round of the Australian Open in a good run. He lost to Rublev, but no shame in losing to him. He's one of the hardest players on tour. In Marseille, he lost to Sanga in 3 sets. In Acapulco, he lost to Kecmanovic, and then in Miami, he lost to Popper in straight sets. But he has been handed tough draws, especially players that are like youngsters and up-and-coming stars. So nothing to be ashamed of Lopez losing to some of them, because they are good players. They are good, so but we're going to see if he can do well on the clay courts, because as I said, clay is not his best surface. His lefty game doesn't really suit clay. So we're going to see what can happen. Now, Taro Daniel, I think that he's also a player that has a little trouble on the clay as well. He's also better on the hard courts, but he did play a clay court event and didn't do so bad. He made the quarterfinals. He lost to Menard in 3 sets. So he may not be as bad on clay as we think. He did play a challenger in Kazakhstan. He made the semis. In Singapore, he made the round of 16. In Melbourne, he lost in the 1st round, but in the Australian Open, he lost in the 1st round to the Serbian volleyer Maxim Cressy in straight sets. So, and now he's playing Feliciano Lopez in the 1st round. So Feliciano Lopez and Taro Daniel, I think that they have met on tour before. I think, yeah, they've met once, and Lopez won that one coming back from a set down. He came back from a set down. He won it 4-6, 6-3, 6-4. So he beat Taro Daniel coming back from a set down. So we're gonna see what can happen if Daniel can turn the tables here. So While I know that clay does not necessarily suit Lopez's game, I'm still going to pick him to win this because I don't think Daniel is so good on clay either. And I just think that Lopez also has the win over Daniel from a couple years ago. So I think that will boost his confidence. I think his confidence will be boosted. You'll feel like he'll be able to defeat Daniel. So as a result, I'm going to pick Feliciano Lopez to win this in 3 sets. I mean, I think it's going to be a 3-setter, but I'm going to pick the experience of Lopez, and I'm going to pick I'm going to pick his confidence over that head-to-head win to bail him out. So Lopez in 3 sets is my pick.